stock cars. Bold, fast, and highly competitive, especially with $50,000 on the line at the McKerlie Millen 300 from Delaware Speedway Park. This is the 1995 CASCAR Super Series for the Castrol Cup on TSN. Brought to you in part by Mopar Performance Parts, your first choice. Castrol, manufacturers of GTX. GM Goodwrench Service Plus and AC Delco. STP and Prestone. And Dynamax Performance Exhausts.
Hello everybody and welcome to race number 9 of this very competitive 10-race CASCAR Super Series. I'm Pat Gonzalez along with Craig Hill, and Craig, you can almost feel the tension in the air here today at Delaware Speedway as we get down to these crucial last 2 races to decide the championship.
Oh, absolutely, Pat. You know, it's been very intense over the past 3 days, and there's several factors that have led up to that intensity. Number one, the statement that CASCAR made with 64 cars going through technical inspection and the qualifying procedure. Boy, some feel the cars, if that doesn't tell everybody that CASCAR late model racing isn't alive and well in Canada, boy, they better wake up. Number 2, it's a national points race and a very important one, Pat. And number 3, there is a lot of prize money available today. There's some $50,000, and this brought out a lot of people, although not in the points chase. They want to take some of those dollars home.
Well, let's take a look at those elements one by one. First, the point standings for the various championships. As of today, Sean Dupuis leads the CASCAR Eastern Championship with 1,485 points, only 10 points ahead of Peter Gibbons. Then it's Kerry Mix, Dan Shurtleff, Duke Sawchuk, and Rob Neely. Next, there's not only the $50,000 plus in prize money, but remember that the national champion at the end of the season will walk away with a brand new Dodge V10 dually pickup truck. And then there's also the factor of the Western drivers. 6 will start here today among the 37 drivers, led by the current points leader from the West, Wade Lee, and the driver who is second in the point standings, Kevin Dowler, in that Mohawk Monte Carlo.
But you know, Pat, this is CASCAR's home racetrack, and the drivers from the East have a distinct advantage because all these guys got a book on this racetrack, whereas the Western guys had to come in and find their way around here.
Craig, speaking about finding your way around Delaware, the Eastern CASCAR Series stars found the way early when Sean Dupuis in the number 7 GM Performance Parts Delco Batteries Monte Carlo set a new Delaware qualifying record previously set by Paul Mathers. So our Mopar qualifying Fast 4 looks like this.
Sean Dupuis leads off with a 20.0444 lap and wins the pole for today's event. And next up it's 74, Duke Sawchuk, who will start alongside of Dupuis. The third Mopar Fast 4 Dodge Avenger driver Junior Regan, followed by the now ex-record holder, number 10, Paul Mathers in a T-Bird. The other 36 spots were earned during the 2 100-lap night races here at Delaware.
In heat number 1, Sean Dupuis and Junior Regan share the front row with number 9, Peter Gibbons, in pursuit. It didn't take long for this to become a 4-car event, with Junior Regan in a number 27 Dodge Avenger walking away from Dupuis, Gibbons, number 3 Dan Shurtleff, at a distance Scott Lindsay. In the meantime, number 17 DJ Kennington in the Castrol Avenger was unsuccessful in holding off a determined Jesse Kennedy in the number 23 Olds Cutlass for 6th. Then on lap 70, the unlucky John Gaunt in the 06 Avenger tangled with the second-place car of Sean Dupuis, and after the restart, Peter Gibbons in the number 9 NTN Bearings Monte Carlo pushed past Junior Regan's Centennial Chrysler Avenger and held on to win Heat 1 and take those all-important championship points.
Heat number 2 started with number 74, Duke Sawchuk, on the pole, alongside of the speedy T-Bird driver, number 10, Paul Mathers. It didn't take long for the Duke to stretch out a commanding lead, while number 38, Bill Rouse, was being pushed up into the marbles and lost positions to STP driver Mike Herniak, Midas's Kerry Mix, and Dynamax-sponsored Brad Jakes. Then in front of a capacity crowd, 3 drivers tried to go where only 2 should, and with number 44, Jack Monahan, getting the squeeze.
There's Western CASCAR points leader number 79, Wade Lee, as he was forced to the pits early with a right rear flat. And by lap 45, the leaderboard announced number 10, Paul Mathers, had jumped into first place ahead of Sawchuk. Later, 35, Brad Jakes crashed his Dynamax Avenger. And after the restart, with 1 lap to go, Kerry Mix in the Midas Monte Carlo edged past Sawchuk in the Key Tours Grand Prix to grab second, with number 10 Mathers in the Ford Thunderbird taking the win.
So with hot laps and the 2 qualifying races completed, over 60 Eastern and Western CASCAR drivers had been distilled down to 38 starting spots for the McKerlie Millen 300.
Part of a record crowd here at Delaware Speedway on a sunny, warm afternoon. The cars lined up on pit road, and now they will get the command to fire engines. There's Sean Dupuis in the number 7 Monte Carlo. He'll sit up on the pole position. 74 Duke Sawchuk will be alongside. There's the 9 of Peter Gibbons, who will start back in row 2, and you now ride on board with Gibbons as we look at the Midas starting grid. There you see Gibbons and Mathers in that second row. Good qualifying effort there for Neil Fair in the Olds Cutlass. One of the Western drivers back in row 10 is Ron Larson, 19th on the grid, and that was the quickest of the CASCAR Western Series drivers. As you saw there, the number 79 of Wade Lee. A little bit further back, Gil Gillette in the Ford Thunderbird, scheduled to start in the last position. He will not go here as they blew an engine in the qualifying heats, and will be a scratch. Kerry Mix in that 02 Midas Monte Carlo rolling up in a position, and there is a tradition here at Delaware Speedway, the waving of the hats to the field of drivers as they now form up and get the white flag from Matt Lake as they roll across the start-finish line. Just 1 lap to go before they get the green. Lynn Church, the Western starter, also on hand here today. She will assist Matt Lake in the flagging as we look over the field, and now you ride on board with Rob Neely, one of the fine young drivers in the CASCAR Super Series. The field rolling out of turn number 4. The Chrysler Sebring pace car has come out of pit road, and Matt Lake will throw the green. We're racing in the McKerlie Millen 300. Sean Dupuis in car number 7 grabs the early lead, and we've got a spin. That is 06. John Gunn, who has spun his Dodge Avenger. We ride on board with 74 Duke Sawchuk, and oh, there's number 9 Gibbons getting just about sideways right in front of Duke Sawchuk.
Well, the whole field's a little loose out there, Pat. They're all on cold tires, and also on the warm-up laps with full tanks of fuel. They spill a little bit of that, and it makes it very slippery on the inside and outside of that racetrack.
There's John Gont in the 06. He has turned that car around and will continue, but I believe he's gone at least 1 lap down. On at turn number 4, your leader Dupuis, followed by the 10 of Mathers in second. 27 Junior Regan runs third. 93 Alex Nagy is fourth. The GM Goodrich Monte Carlo of Dan Shurtleff running back in the 5th place position, and then number 9 Peter Gibbons in that NTN Bearings Monte Carlo, and Duke Sawchuk, who started up on that front row, has dropped all the way back into the 7th place position. So Sawchuk must be finding a race car that's not handling very well right now. This is your lead battle as Mathers now moves up on the 7 of Sean Dupuis. You saw the 06 there of John Gunn, and oh, here's Kelly Williams in the pits.
And a tough break so early in the 300-lap race. Kelly had a good starting spot a couple of races ago, but like today, the car broke early and made her a spectator.
Number 7, Sean Dupuis, around 75, Mike Herniak, who is struggling here in the early going. 10 Mathers in second, and now you ride on board with the STP Pontiac driver Herniak, who has just dropped the lap here to this front-running trio. It is 7, Dupuis, your leader in the Monte Carlo. Number 10, Mathers in the Ford Thunderbird, and then Junior Regan in the number 27 Dodge Avenger. So the big 3 all represented up at the front of the field.
And there's the Midas standings with Dupuis holding off Mathers, followed by Regan and Nagy. Then it's Shurtleff, Mix, Gibbons, Sawchuk, Neely, and Neil Fair. And we'll be back with more CASCAR racing right after this. Welcome back to Delaware Speedway and the McKerlie Millen 300 as number 27 Junior Regan tries to outgun Paul Mathers in the T-Bird for second spot.
Side by side, Junior Regan in that number 27 Dodge Avenger battling with Paul Mathers in the Ford Thunderbird. Side by side, they'll run it into the corner. Junior Regan up on that high groove. Mathers, his Ford Thunderbird, working well down at the bottom of the racetrack. Back to the stripe they'll come. Dupuis, number 7, your leader. Junior Regan now in a second. Oh, Regan just about loops the car around, gathers it up. He'll drop back into third.
Well, what happened to Regan there, Pat, is that he just got up a little plus that cement, it throws the rubber up higher on the corners. He just put 2 wheels up on it and brought the back end around a little bit, but he's going to be all right, I'm sure.
You saw number 95, Robin Buck, heading for pit road as we look at the third-place car of Junior Regan, and what a great job Peter Shatanis and the crew have done of preparing this Dodge Avenger.
Well, it looks like Robin Buck will take an early shower today, and here's Todd with his crew chief, Jeff Ross.
What happened and what put Robin out early in this one?
Well, it looks like the engine decided to check out on us, so we're done for the day. I'd like to thank Pontiac and Y95 for helping us this year. We'll be back at Shannonville next weekend to put a little pressure on these guys.
While Robin Buck is not the only driver with problems, there's 86, Don Thompson Jr. in the Chevrolet Lumina, and he will bring out a caution flag as number 75. Mike Herniak heads for pit road.
Well, it looks like they're under the hood for something or other, Pat, and it appears that they're playing with something on the ignition coil back there, whether it's a loose connection or something, but it sure dropped him out of the race in a hurry.
Mike Herniak qualified 16th, but this early trip to pit road is going to drop him well back in the running order. There's the 35 of Brad Jakes, the Dynamax Dodge Avenger, also in, being looked at by the crew. He'll head back out, but under this full course yellow, as we're about to go back to green flag racing, the pace car on pit road, there's Matt Lake, and he will give the field the green flag one more time, side by side into turn 1. Sean Dupuis, who had been the leader before that caution period, now being challenged by Paul Mathers, and Mathers of the Ford Thunderbird will take the lead, running up into turn number 3. It is 10, Mathers, your leader in the Ford Thunderbird. Number 7, Dupuis in the Monte Carlo, running in second, and now a challenge for third as we go on board with the 74 of Duke Sawchuk. He is right in the thick of this leading group. There you see the NTN Bearings Monte Carlo of Peter Gibbons. He is all over the racetrack. The number 3 GM Goodrich Monte Carlo of Dan Shurtleff, 38. Billy Rouse Jr. also in the thick of this lead battle, but there's your new leader, number 10, Paul Mathers, who has been very quick here at Delaware all season long, including the regular Friday night shows here at this oval. Down the back chute, it is Mathers, 10-year leader, number 7, Dupuis in second, and 27, Junior Regan running in third. The 93 car of Alex Nagy Jr. now up into fourth, and there is the 02 of Kerry Mix. He has moved up into the 5th place position after qualifying 6th on the grid. Mike Herniak looks like he has got more problems.
Well, Mike's just trying to nurse that STP Pontiac back to the pits. That's a tough break for that team. But another guy that's having a difficult time is 74 Duke Sawchuk. He's down in 12th, and here's Todd Lewis with his crew chief, Gord Osborne.
Last time in Cayuga, nothing could hold you guys back. You've fallen back from the front row. You're having radio problems. What else is going wrong?
Well, we missed the setup. There's no doubt about it this time around. But when Duke can really drive, so like we're counting on his driving ability right now. And well, we'll just have to see how we make out. Hopefully we can change a tire, get a little bit more stagger in the car to help it go through the transit a little bit better in the corners. And other than that, well, we'll just hope for the best.
While Duke Sawchuk has been sliding backwards, this driver has been charging to the front. There's 02 Kerry Mix as he moves around the 93 of Alex Nagy Jr. And now Kerry Mix in that Midas Monte Carlo is up into 4th. 93 Alex Nagy Jr. in 5th, and he's about to lose that 5th place position as right up alongside goes the number 9 car of Peter Gibbons, and Gibbons will take over the spot. And Craig, Alex Nagy in the last couple of laps seems to be fighting this race car. He is dropping back.
Well, Alex is a smart racer, you know, and I think what he's doing, it's early in this race, Pat, and he's just looking after his tires and everything else. I'm certain that this is the best race that he's had in a long time, and I think you're going to see him back someplace before this race is over.
Paul Mathers in car number 10, still your leader. Here's that battle now as 38. Billy Rouse Jr. will move around 93. Alex Nagy Jr., he'll take over 6th. Alex Nagy now dropping back into the 7th place position as they run down the back straightaway, but still some very close racing all the way through the top 10. Number 74, Duke Sawchuk now trying to climb back up in the running order as we go back to the front of the field. Number 10, Paul Mathers is your leader. 7, Sean Dupuis in second. And here comes Junior Regan in that number 27 Dodge Avenger right alongside of Junior Regan, really working that high groove beautifully here this afternoon at Delaware Speedway. He is up into second and closing now on the leader, Paul Mathers, as they hit the stripe.
good to see Neil up there in the top 10.
Well, here's more disappointment for number 25, Jim Lapsevich, in the Tim Hortons Ford Thunderbird. He'll take it right back to the pits as he has got another problem. It looks like another blown engine on that car. Here's the battle going on for the third place position side by side. Kerry Mix is continuing to charge to the front right alongside of the number 7 car of Sean Dupuis. They're still door handle to door handle. The two Monte Carlo drivers fighting for that third place position as they come back to the stripe. Dupuis will just get the position by a couple of feet. And now 0-2 Mix down at the bottom of the racetrack retakes it. Up on the high side, Dupuis will retake third.
Well, Kerry Mix and the Midas team have been strong contenders all year long, Pat. They won 2 races this year, and last week at Cayuga, he ran almost the entire race with 7 cylinders, and he still finished 6th. And now we have a challenge for the lead.
Side by side, here's 27. Junior Regan will just blow by number 10 Mathers to grab the lead. Mathers in that Ford Thunderbird just could not hang on as they ran down the back chute. And now Junior Regan will bring that Dodge Avenger to the stripe with the lead. Mathers number 10 holding on to the number 2 spot. Then it is the 7 car of Dupuis in third, followed by the 0-2 of Kerry Mix in fourth. So some outstanding racing all the way through the top 10.
Well, you talk about outstanding, Pat. Look at this Prestone suspension cam, and you can see just how hard that McKerlie tire's got to work on this Delaware oval. Also, the rest of the suspension working hard with the tire. What a great shot.
Well, that Prestone suspension cam is bolted to the right front of Sean Dupuis' car, and there is Dupuis as he's involved in a battle now for second place with the number 10 Ford Thunderbird of Paul Mathers. It's still 27. Junior Regan, your leader.
Well, let's have a look at the standings with all 3 manufacturers represented in the top 5. And then at 6th, it's Billy Rouse Jr., followed by Sawchuk, Nagy, Shirtliff, and Neil Fair. And we'll be back with more CASCAR action for the Castrol Cup right after this.
Welcome back to Delaware Speedway and the McKerlie Millen 300. We're in a caution period at the moment as number 74, Duke Sawchuk, who was running in 7th place, makes a trip onto pit road. DeDuker has been back in 12th. He's worked his way back up into the top 10 and now heads for pit road one more time.
And here's the Mopar replay of the Dukes incident. He just lost it in corner 1 after getting caught out on the concrete, and around the Pontiac goes.
Sawchuk was not the only driver getting into a spin. As we look at another incident from Brad Jake's Dynamax Avenger, there's number 112, Ron Larson from Quesnel, BC, as he spins his car around. And while all of that was going on, number 10, Paul Mathers, regained the lead over Junior Regan. As we get set to go back to green, there's Matt Lake, the green flag as the cars hit the stripe into turn 1. Junior Regan up on the outside will grab the lead away from Mathers, number 10, as they now run down the back chute. Side by side, the 27 Dodge Avenger inching into the lead. Mathers down at the bottom of the racetrack in second. Number 7, Sean Dupuis, also riding that high groove in third. 0-2, Kerry Mix runs in fourth. And moving up into that 5th place position is the number 9 of Peter Gibbons. 38, Billy Rouse Jr. runs in the 6th place position. And again, close racing has been the order of the afternoon here at Delaware Speedway. Number 7, Sean Dupuis, side by side for second with Mathers as they come back to the stripe, and Dupuis will retake the number 2 spot. Well, it's been a great race so far, and the sellout crowd here at Delaware Speedway, the culmination of almost a week of activity in and around the London, Ontario area. There were pit stop competitions earlier, and 4 days of racing here at Delaware Speedway, and this has been an outstanding event so far. Across the stripe, back into turn 1, number 27, Junior Regan is your leader, 7 Dupuis in second.
And that's Bobby Hume from the Castrol team, and we've got our Pulsar heart rate monitor on his 18-year-old Avenger driver to see how the pressure of racing affects his rate.
There you saw Kennington being tapped by number 15, Jim Patrick, and that heart rate just jumps up to 185. Now it starts to settle back down as we look at the race leader, 27, Junior Regan, ahead of the 7 of Sean Dupuis. Number 10, Paul Mathers, running in third of the Ford Thunderbird. Then it's the Midas Monte Carlo of Kerry Mix. Here's the battle for 5th. Billy Rouse Jr., number 38 in the 5th, and 9, Peter Gibbons has got a problem.
Well, it looked like Peter just got into corner 1 a little too hot, or he lost his car concentration. He's got gathered up again, but has lost a couple of positions. And here's Todd with Peter's crew chief.
Marty, Peter's fallen back a couple of places. Is the car okay? What's the problem?
Well, we got a bit of a push in the car, but we got a sick driver right now, and Peter's not feeling too well, so he's going to last out as long as we can. If it comes to we'll get Robin Buck, he's going to get in the car and finish it off for us, but we're just going to see how he feels now.
Well, that's Robin Buck ready to go, still in his driver's suit, and Robin would be the best guy to take over the Gibbons Monte Carlo. Robin's car is prepared by Peter Gibbons out of his shop near Stouffville.
Here's the battle for fourth, 0-2, Kerry Mix, a number 10. Oh, Mather's just about into the wall as he ran wide, and here's Peter Gibbons, number 9. He'll take over that 5th place position. So Kerry Mix, 0-2, up into 4th. Gibbons, number 9, running 5th, but Mathers is going to battle him right back to the line as the two drivers touched a little bit there as they ran up across the stripe. Paul Mathers in car number 10 trying to retake that 5th place position as they run up into turn number 3, but Gibbons now clear of the number 10 Ford Thunderbird. This is a good fight going on for that 5th place position.
And there's the Midas standing still with that good mix of manufacturers in the top 5. And Junior Regan really showing the way today. And then in 6th, it's Mathers, then Nagy, McGlynn, Beauchamp, and then Neil Fair.
Well, one driver who's dropped out of that top 10, and we've just found out the reason why. Todd Lewis from the pits reports that number 3, Dan Shurtleff, is not feeling well as we look at this battle for 2nd place. Number 7, Sean Dupuis, just ahead of the 38 car of Billy Rouse Jr. The battle for 2nd place, 27 Junior Regan, your leader, and we've got this side-by-side battle going by our Sony Prestone wall cam. There's Mix followed by the 9 of Peter Gibbons. That's another great fight in the top 10. Now Billy Rouse Jr., number 38, will grab that 2nd place position just ahead of Sean Dupuis, and then we've got Mix and Gibbons battling for 4th and 5th. Outstanding racing all the way through the top 10.
So that reshuffles the order again with Regan ahead of Rouse. Then it's Dupuis, Mix, Gibbons, and Mathers. And it looks like Dan Shurtleff is coming out of the car. And here's Todd Lewis.
Kelly, Dan's not feeling well. What's it like to go in as a relief driver?
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see whether I can even fit the car or not. I don't know what it's going to be like at all, but my car, we can't find out what's wrong with it. It's not picking up gas. I don't know what's wrong with it. So, you know, if I can help him out, I will.
There is Dan Shurtleff. He has brought the Goodrich Monte Carlo into the pits. Tim Ellis and the Goodrich crew go to work. There's Kelly Williams standing by. Tim Ellis will unbuckle his driver, but you can see the exhaustion in the face of Dan Shurtleff as he climbs out of the Monte Carlo. There's Tim Ellis, the crew chief, and he looks to be in pretty rough shape right now. A couple of the other crew members and some of the Ford crew come over and lend assistance, but Dan Shurtleff evidently overcome by a bit of flu or simply the heat here this afternoon. Kelly Williams has got into the car. They continue to attend to Dan Shurtleff. Meanwhile, on the racetrack, this battle for 4th between number 9, Peter Gibbons, and 0-2, Kerry Mix. And we also had that report earlier that Gibbons was also not feeling well, but it has not slowed him as he has charged up into that 4th place position. Mix in the 0-2 car running in 5th, and then it is Paul Mathers battling back in the Ford Thunderbird. He runs in the 6th place spot. Junior Regan, 27, still your leader. 38, Billy Rouse Jr. and Den Dupuis, and there's Kelly Williams getting away. And now the battle for 5th is 0-2. Kerry Mix appears to be having a problem, Craig. He just lost that 5th place spot to Mathers.
Well, we've had a report from the Midas crew that Mix is not feeling very well either as we look at the Prestone update, Pat.
Well, Craig, that is the 3rd report of a driver not feeling well behind the wheel. Dan Shurtleff has already handed over the Goodrich Monte Carlo to Kelly Williams, and now Gibbons and Mix also reported sick.
There's a look at Kelly Williams as she's lapped by leader Regan. We're told that Shurtleff is okay and wants to get back in the car. Lots more to come right after this. Welcome back to the McKerlie Millen 300 for the Castrol Cup. I'm Craig Hill along with Pat Gonzalez and Todd Lewis, and that's number 27, Junior Regan, who has shared the lead with Sean Dupuis and Paul Mathers so far today, Pat.
Well, here's 74, Duke Sawchuk, Craig, back in the 15th place position as he tries to move underneath of 97, Rob Neely, so the Duker will take over that 14th place position, but he has had a disappointing run after starting up on that front row, and just ahead of him, 79, take over that 13th place position. So Sawchuk picking up a couple of spots, but now Wade Lee will retake the position. After 74, Duke Sawchuk jumped up into 13th place there, but only for a moment. And the two drivers in the Pontiac Grand Prix continue to battle here for what is the 13th place spot.
Well, these Western drivers are more used to shorter races in their CASCAR series, usually 150 laps. And I asked Wade Lee if going 300 laps would make a difference.
I don't think the length of the race will actually affect our strategy too much. I know that one thing, it's going to be hot, a lot hotter here than it was in Calgary. So just make sure that we got the old water jug full of Gatorade this time and go from there. And we'll just play conservative. I mean, when it gets hot, the guys that are in actually probably good shape here are going to be good at the end. And I think you'll see some of the drivers fade maybe with the heat.
Well, one of the drivers who has faded with the heat here as we look at the Mopar replay is Jim Patrick getting out of that number 15 Eastway Ford Thunderbird. And there is Peter Gibbons. He is out of his car. He was feeling ill earlier, but apparently they have blown an engine on the NTN Bearings Monte Carlo. Number 79, Wade Lee, brings the Goodwrench Grand Prix on a pit road. This is a green flag pit stop. And also coming in is number 38, Billy Rouse Jr. Looks like they'll change right side rubber on the Ford Thunderbird. As we look at the Midas standings, Junior Regan, your leader, followed by Dupuis, Mathers, Kerry Mix, and Alex Nagy Jr. Then it is Sean McGlynn, Ron Beauchamp, DJ Kennington up to 8th, Neil Fair, and Duke Sawchuk working his way up into the 10th place position. Junior Regan, the leader, going by.
Well, Junior's had some big changes this year from last. He's driving the 95 Dodge Avenger, and he's also changed crew chiefs. I asked him earlier if the team had been able to improve the performance of this new car.
Yeah, actually we have. We've made some big improvements. Peter Shatanis, working with other makes and models previous years, wasn't accustomed to having the power that the Dodge makes. We have exceptionally good power, and my driving style is a little bit different than the driving style of other drivers Peter's had, and we're finding that happy medium now to get the bite off the corner that we'd like to have. The Dodge power is just excellent. It's just if we can get our handling problem sorted out in the corner, there's actually nothing can stop us. Right now, I think we're at the happy medium where the power and the handling is balanced, and I think we can run well here today.
Well, Junior Regan has been running extremely well here today as he will put 0-2 Kerry Mix a lap down. Again, Mix being reported as feeling sick in the car. He continues to stay out on the racetrack trying to pick up those valuable championship points. And here is the 74 of Duke Sawchuk. Right now, he's running just one lap down to the leader, Junior Regan. He's desperately trying to get back on the lead lap and hope for a caution so that he can close up on just about 3 or 4 other cars that are still running on the lead lap. There's number 17, DJ Kennington, running in the 8th place position. This Pulsar heart monitor showing 180-plus beats for the young 18-year-old driver who is an outstanding athlete. He's an up-and-coming junior goaltender, but certainly when you ask him, do you want to be a professional goalie or a race car driver, he simply says, I want to be a race car driver, and he's doing an outstanding job keeping that Castrol Dodge Avenger in the 8th place position. Here is Junior Regan in car number 27, your race leader, as he closes. Oh, and a problem here, 143. That is Western CASCAR rookie Dallas Mayer, and that'll bring out a caution flag as number 12. That is Mark Patrick. He hits the wall. And this yellow flag will allow several of the drivers to come out of pit road to complete their mandatory pit stop. There's race leader, number 27, Junior Regan in the Dodge Avenger. That'll probably mean, yes, Dupuis also coming out of pit road, along with the number 10 Ford Thunderbird of Paul Mathers. Here comes Mathers as he moves into position, not right into his stop here along pit road, as the crew will refuel the car. It looks like they will not go with any fresh rubber. Here's the Junior Regan crew, Peter Shatanis, checking the tire pressure there on the left front as the crew continues to service the car. A full load of fuel going in the number 27 car as he'll be away shortly.
Well, Mathers may have been a little out of position, but he's first in, first out, and he's followed by Dupuis, Regan, and Alex Nagy, and we'll be back with more CASCAR action for the Castrol Cup right after this. Welcome back to the McKerlie Millen 300 from Delaware Speedway, and while we were away, we had another yellow, and that's Kerry Mix in for right rear rubber.
Well, Kerry has been in several times as the heat is really getting to him, but he's staying with the Midas Monte Carlo.
And the cause of this yellow was number 8, Sean McGlynn, hitting the around the DJ Kennington Castro car as they dueled for 7th spot.
DJ Kennington preparing for the restart. The lead lap cars on the outside as Matt Lake gives them the green. There's 74 Duke Sawchuk. He'll unlap himself. Number 10 Mathers runs wide, almost into the wall. There's 27 Junior Regan also getting shoved out of the way. And it'll be number 7 Sean Dupuis who will grab the lead. Alex Nagy Jr. into second. And there is Kennington as he runs up on the high groove. And below, it's the 93 car of Alex Nagy Jr. who jumps into that second place position. So it is Dupuis, number 7, your new leader, Alex Nagy Jr., 93, running in the second place spot. Then we have a couple of lap cars there in 17, DJ Kennington, and 97, Rob Neely. The third place cars, number 10, Paul Mathers, and then number 27, Junior Regan. So Duke Sawchuk was able to jump back up onto the lead lap. So now 5 cars are still running on the lead lap. There you see the rundown. Dupuis, Nagy, Mathers, Junior Regan, and Duke Sawchuk, our Prestone summary, and then the rest of the cars, starting with Rob Neely, at least a lap down. There you see back in 12th, Brad Jakes. He is 2 laps down at the moment and running up in the pack of cars that are running on the lead lap. But as we said, a couple of laps down. Here's the battle for the lead. Alex Nagy gets into the side of Sean Dupuis as the 2 drivers battle for the lead. Sean Dupuis, number 7, the current Eastern points leader. He's also on top of the national point standings as they battle back into turn number 1. Just about a car length separating those 2 drivers. And now we go on board with Brad Jakes. He is 2 laps down, running in the 12th place position, just ahead of number 27, Junior Regan, who holds out of the 4th place spot. Side by side, here is Rob Neely moving ahead of the 93 car of Alex Nagy. But remember, 97, Rob Neely is running a lap down, and all problems here for DJ Kennington. Number 17 just about runs over one of his crew members as he has brought the Castrol Dodge Avenger onto pit road. They go under the hood, and that is not a good sign. There's smoke coming from the engine, and oh, here's another driver. Unscheduled pit stop for number 10, Paul Mathers, who had been running in 3rd. Mathers, who had motor problems at Cayuga at our last event, and it looks like there may be some big problems here with that motion. 4th Thunderbird, yes, he's getting out of the car, and that is it for Paul Mathers. A great run here at Delaware has ended, and he may have some more motor problems on the Thunderbird. Number 27, Junior Regan, now up into 3rd, into the back of Billy Rouse Jr., spins him around, and that'll bring out another caution flag here at Delaware.
Well, Billy's got himself going again, and with this caution, we'll take a break with our Dynamax timeout.
Tony Novotny has been a busy president of CASCAR in 1995 as he jets back and forth across Canada from the Western Series to the Eastern Series. But we sat him down long enough to tell us a few of the changes for the 96 Super Series.
Expectations for 96, plans for 96 are really on target. We've got a couple new cars on the drawing board. The new Pontiac will be released later this fall. The new Thunderbird, which will come into line with the rest of the models as far as the wheelbase is concerned, on 107.5 inch. So going into 96 will be their first time that we'll have the Fords and the GMs and the Chrysler products all on one wheelbase.
Well, that should be a big equalizer for these teams. And you know, Tony also told us that in 96, there may also be some changes to the motors in order to boost the horsepower of these late model stock cars.
Well, right now, Craig, as we go back to green, Matt Lake has been a busy starter here today. There are just 4 cars running on the lead lap. Number 7 is your new race leader, Sean Dupuis. 93, Alex Nagy Jr. running in 2nd. The 27 car, and we just had a shuffle there, and an attempted shuffle for 3rd. Duke Sawchuk, 74. What a marvelous job the Key Tours crew have done of keeping Duke Sawchuk in the hunt. And during that last caution period, he was able to work his way all the way back up and catch these other 3 drivers that were running on the lead lap. Duke able to battle back onto the lead lap, and right now he is running in 4th. So it is number 7, Sean Dupuis, your leader, followed by the 93 of Alex Nagy Jr., then 27, Junior Regan, and now you ride on board with number 74, Duke Sawchuk, who has had a great year so far. He's been one of our fastest qualifiers much of the season. Right now sits back in that 4th place position as we look at this battle now shaping up for the number 2 spot. The AC Delco Monte Carlo of Alex Nagy Jr., and down on the
got a new engine in that car this weekend, and I'm sure that that's part of the reason he's running so good.
Well, Sam Routs, the crew chief, and the entire crew have stood by the driver of that number 93 AC Delco Monte Carlo, and right now he is in the thick of this battle. It's still Dupuis leading. There is 27 running in the second place position. Junior Regan, then the number 93 of Alex Nagy Jr., followed by the number 74 of Duke Sawchuk. Again, those are the only 4 cars still running on the lead lap as you ride along with number 74 Duke Sawchuk, and those 2 drivers just about got together. Duke Sawchuk trying to move up alongside of Alex Nagy Jr., looking for that 3rd place position, but he won't get it as things have really started to tighten up for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and these 4 drivers having to contend with some of the slower traffic out there on the racetrack.
Well, Pat, I'm impressed with Sawchuk. He's made his way into 4th from that disastrous spin on lap 95, and I talked to him earlier about being focused.
Yeah, we are, and we're trying to stay real focused on our big picture, and our goal today is, well, we want to win the race, but our real goal is to finish on the lead lap, and if we're there on the lead lap right at the very end, then we got a good chance of winning this.
While Duke Sawchuk is on the lead lap, running in the 4th place position, right behind number 93, Alex Nagy Jr. They move around number 235, Kevin Dowler. He is still your highest running Western driver, a couple of laps down, but in the 8th place position. Right behind Dowler is number 79, Wade Lee. He is 4 laps down, a disappointing run for Wade Lee. There's Gord Osborne, the crew chief of Duke Sawchuk, as we ride with his driver in that 4th place position, but he is all over Nagy for the 3rd place spot. Duke Sawchuk trying to get around the AC Delco Monte Carlo to try to get up there and go after 27 Junior Regan and the race leader Sean Dupuis. Side by side, Duke Sawchuk on the inside of Alex Nagy Jr. looking for that 3rd place position. They'll run door handle to door handle down the back chute. The Pontiac Grand Prix up against the Monte Carlo, and then right behind that pair is the 235 car of Kevin Dowler, number 79, Wade Lee. So the top 2 drivers from the CASCAR Western Series battling, but again, Lee is 4 laps down, Dowler 2 laps down, and well back in the running order. One of the other Western drivers, I believe Kim Richard, is parked up in turn 2. Here's Duke Sawchuk, and it looks like we're going to get yet another caution flag as Nagy and Sawchuk slow. There is Richard as he pulls off the track.
And with that yellow, there are the updated minus standings with Dupuis ahead of Regan, Nagy, and Sawchuk, and they're the only drivers currently on the lead lap. So let's take a break, and we'll be back with more CASCAR action after this. Welcome back to Delaware Speedway as we get ready for the restart of the McKerlie Millen 300. And during our commercial break, we had yet another caution. And as you can see in this Mopar replay, number 38, Billy Rouse Jr. slid into the turn 4 wall, tearing off most of the Ford plan bodywork path.
Well, that's a tough break for Billy Rouse Jr., who had been having a pretty good run. In fact, ran up front in the early going. And now we go back to another green flag restart in a turn number 1. Sean Dupuis in car number 7 is your leader. 27 Junior Regan running in 2nd. 93 Alex Nagy Jr. is 3rd. And the red number 74, Key Tours Pontiac of Duke Sawchuk, runs in the 4th place position. Those are the only 4 cars still running on the lead lap. There's Duke Sawchuk, 74, closing on Alex Nagy Jr., and just to his left is the 235 car of Kevin Dowler in the Mohawk GM Goodwrench Monte Carlo. He is the highest running Western driver at the moment in the 8th place position, but a couple of laps down. Sawchuk is all over Alex Nagy Jr. for that 3rd place position, and now the lead battle. Sean Dupuis just ahead of Junior Regan on the inside. Regan trying to fire through on the inside in that Dodge Avenger and taps number 7 Dupuis as the 2 drivers continue to go at it up front, side by
tries to do is pinch Junior down so he can't roll the throttle back on and out-accelerate him coming off the corner.
Sean Dupuis in car number 7, the defending CASCAR Eastern champion, has got his hands full with the hard-charging Junior Regan in that Dodge Avenger. And again, they'll run it into the turn just about side by side as they come off of turn 4. Again, they'll run door handle to door handle. You saw the battle there for third between Duke Sawchuk and Alex Nagy. That is just as good as they run side by side for this third place position. Alex Nagy Jr. in the AC Delco Monte Carlo, 74 Duke Sawchuk in the Key Tours Pontiac Grand Prix. Up front, the fight continues between Sean Dupuis, number 7, and the 27 Dodge Avenger of Junior Regan. It has been a car length and no more for about the last 10 to 15 laps. These two drivers just hammering at each other all the way around the racetrack. They move around the 92 car of Earl Ross as the other drivers are being very courteous on the racetrack, allowing these two plenty of room on the track to continue to wage this war for the lead. Back into turn number 1. Junior Regan again will pull up alongside of number 7, Sean Dupuis, who had that great season a year ago, and it was the Eastern Championship that earned him the GM Performance Parts at Delco Battery sponsorship, and he's put it to good use here in 1995. Back to the stripe they'll come, side by side into turn 1. 27 Junior Regan goes sideways. Number 7, Sean Dupuis, spins as well. The caution is out here at Delaware Speedway.
Well, Pat, those are two young Chargers, and neither one of them wanted to give an inch. And let's have another look at that incident with the Mopar replay. Regan got real loose, then tried to gather it back up. You can see him correcting the steering, but he's into that slippery stuff and collects Sean's Monte Carlo with the back end of the Avenger. They do a little synchronized move and are passed by Nagy and Sawchuk for first and second. So the new leader is Alex Nagy Jr., followed by Duke Sawchuk, Sean Dupuis, Regan, and Neil Fair in 5th. Then it's mixed. Beauchamp has moved to 7th, then Neely, Dowler, and Don Thompson. So don't go away. We've got some excitement left yet, and we'll be back after this. Welcome back to Delaware Speedway and the final 4 laps of the McKerlie Millen 300. And can new leader Alex Nagy hold off Sawchuk, Dupuis, and Regan, Pat?
Well, Craig, Alex Nagy qualified 7th fastest, but right now he's up front. He's been a very patient driver here this afternoon. Duke Sawchuk, 74, in that second place position. And then the two drivers who had some of the best racing action all season long, sitting back in 3rd and 4th. That's number 7, Sean Dupuis, and number 27, Junior Regan. As they work their way back to the stripe, there's 93, Alex Nagy Jr., your leader. 74, Sawchuk in that red Key Tours Pontiac Grand Prix, holding on a second. Number 7, Sean Dupuis, coming into this event, the Eastern and the National points leader. He'll be looking to pick up some big championship points here this afternoon, but he wants that second place position as they come off of turn 4, hit the stripe. We've got just about 2 laps to go. Alex Nagy Jr. by about a car length and a half, followed by 74 Sawchuk, and here comes number 7, Sean Dupuis, all over Sawchuk for second. 27 Junior Regan on the inside. He'll try to get around that 74 Pontiac, and the 3 drivers battling for 3rd, and they're just about 3 wide as they take the white last lap flag. Alex Nagy Jr. now by about 3 car lengths. What a great run he has had, and as we said, the car owners, Sam Rounce and crew chief, have stood by their drive, and it looks like he is about to reward the crew with a big win here this afternoon. Checkered flag out at the line. There's the victory for Alex Nagy Jr.
Elation for the Alex Nagy team after they waited the whole season for their first win, and disappointment for Sean Dupuis and Junior Regan. There's the final standings with Dupuis edging Sawchuk, then it's Regan and Neil Fair in 5th, followed by Mix, Neely, and top Westerner Kevin Dowler, then Beauchamp and Don Thompson. And with that second place finish, Sean Dupuis takes a 55-point lead over Duke Sawchuk in the National CASCAR Championship standings.
Alex, tremendous drive. You're in there all day. The car seemed to be working real well right down to the end.
It was good, Pat. I'll tell you, we weren't quite as happy as we were with it on Thursday, but man, my hat's off to this AC Delco, Robinson Stables, Mac Tools, Thompson Science crew. They worked so hard the last couple of weeks. You know, I told them we'd get some more horsepower, and we did, and I told them once we did, we'd be at the front, and we've been at the front the last few weeks, so That's where we should run. We're really happy, and you know our sponsors have been behind us excellent. Crew's great, and McKerlie Millen, these guys are awesome. You put on a great show.
Alex, you've been trying to get this big win all season. You put it all together here in front of a record crowd at Delaware. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Judging by the scrapes and dents all over the car, it was a battle all day, Sean Dupuis.
Yeah, the last 10 laps, you know, Junior was running me hard. He wasn't necessarily bumping me in the corner down the straightaway. He's giving me two, but, you know, we run hard and stuff like that happens. You know, you just got to take it in stride. And one of our cars, the AC Delco Alex Nagy, won. You know, we come second with GM Performance Parts, Delco batteries all over these cars. These GM cars are great.
Kerry Mix finished back. Peter Gibbons didn't finish. How does that make you feel now about the national championship?
Well, we still got Shannonville left. Anything can happen, and we're just ecstatic with this finish.
Second place finish, a step closer.
Another tremendous finish here at Delaware Speedway. Craig, at the end there, any one of four drivers had a shot at the win.
They always leave us with surprises, don't they, Pat? But I'm happy for Alex Nagy. You know, he's been up there all year long, and I'm really glad to see him get the win. And finally, at this race where it's so important.
And, of course, a great move by Sean Dupuis at the end, grabbing second place. That could be the difference between second and the championship. For Craig Hill and Todd Lewis, I'm Pat Gonzalez. We'll see you next on the road course as the late model stock cars head to Shannonville for the final event of the Eastern Series. So long from Delaware Speedway Park.
The McKerlie Millen 300 was brought to you in part by Mopar Performance Parts, your first choice. Castrol, manufacturers of GTX. GM Goodwrench Service Plus and AC Delco. STP and Prestone. And Dynamax Performance Exhausts. This event was sanctioned by CASCAR, Canadian Association for Stock Car Auto Racing.